My wife and I originally got the call to plant a church while we were youth pastors in York, Pennsylvania. At the time, it didn't make sense. We were leading a great youth group and things were thriving, but God was up to something. And in that moment when God called us to plant a church, we were at a youth convention. And he told us that 2 years we were going to leave that church to start the process to plant a church. And it was ironic that the next staff meeting, the pastor of that church that we were attending told us that he was going to be retiring in 2 years. It didn't make sense, but we knew that God was going to make something great of it. We originally thought that we were going to be planting in Baltimore. And we had some family down there and some friends, and we found this really cool location. But as we went along that process, we just found closed door after closed door after closed door. And we felt like there was going to be a point where we're going to be out of ministry and God was closing the door on us. But in the midst of God closing that opportunity, he was opening up another opportunity somewhere else. I got a call from a friend who lives in the Northeast, and he was telling us that he was starting a network to plant churches, and he thought of us. The place was called Drums, Pennsylvania. I never even heard of Drums, Pennsylvania. I played drums, never even knew there was a town called Drums. When we came up to this area, it was -4 degrees and it was cold, but God was warming something in our hearts. And as we met with that team of pastors, and as we were driving back home, we just got the sense that God was calling us to this area. God was calling us to something new. And there was a song playing on the radio, and there was a line, finding hope in the Father. And we just felt like that was it. Valley Community Church, find hope in the Valley. And it was a difficult transition, but those things came into place, and we were able to find a home and find friends and really start to make connections in this area. But we needed a place to meet for a church. There was a community center that was recently built, and we thought this would be the perfect place for a new church. We casted our vision and we told them our dreams to have a church meet in the Valley. But the board wasn't really for a church, and they really didn't think that a church would make sense in a community center. They said that they didn't even have chairs for the people to sit in. We told them that we would purchase the chairs and that we can use them for our service, and then they can use them for anything that goes on in the community center. They were their chairs too. And that is when everything changed. It started with the chair, and it continues with the chair. We started having preview services in the community center, and it was a really good fit. And then we had our launch on Palm Sunday, April 1st, 2012. The service blew away our expectations, and it was great to see God move in a fresh way in a new church. The next Sunday was Easter, and we thought if Palm Sunday was great, then Easter is going to be even better, because what person doesn't love church on Easter? But we came to find that the attendance was 2/3 less than the previous service, and realized right then and there that this church was not going to grow through a marketing scheme or through what you can learn in a seminar, but it was going to happen through hope in a Savior. And it was by one relationship at a time, one person at a time, one seed at a time, that this church began to grow. Soon after that, I got a call from a local businessman that owned a funeral home and asked if we were interested in having services at his facility. My first thought was, no way. Usually funeral homes in Philadelphia are cold, smelly, and look like something from a mob movie. But this was a different type of place. And as we went there, we just knew that this was a place that we can call home. And it actually used to be a church, and how ironic that a funeral home that used to be a church is now having services again. 3 years later, we've been able to grow to a place where we can go from finding hope in the Valley to finding roots in the Valley. We have the opportunity to secure a location that is on a main highway where loads of cars drive past every day, where it's an opportunity for people to drive to a new church to find new faith. The interesting thing about this location is that it is on the same street that there is a bar, and there's also a porn shop. And it's also, I think, ironic that God would have a church be planted right in the middle for people to find hope, for those who are far from God to come close to God. Our hope is that it began with the chair and it'll continue with the chair. One chair at a time, one person at a time, finding hope in the Valley.
Church is about a journey and developing your talents and gifts. And Valley Community Church is a place where you can find and develop your ministry.
So before going to this church, I really used to not like going to youth group, but this youth group has been so welcoming and shown me, what a church family really is. And now I look forward to going to youth group every Thursday.
One of my favorite things about VCC are the life groups, because life groups are where church becomes family. So come join the family.
Elevate is a place that we can be ourselves and develop meaningful friendships, and it's something that I really look forward to on Thursday nights.
At Valley Community Church, you'll learn about grace, love, and more grace.
Since coming to VCC, we have felt very welcomed and warm here. You can come and get your first cup of coffee or tea and just know that everybody's going to know your name.
I really love how VCC is a family. It doesn't matter what background you come from, everyone is welcome here.
Hi, my name is Al DeSalvatore, lead pastor of Valley Community Church. This is my wife Marissa, our boys Keen and Clayton, and we like to invite you to find hope in the Valley.